Hey guys, this video is brought to you by viewers like you and people that support our website codingphase.com. Go check it out. Over 20 courses in there that's going to guide you to become a developer from the beginning to becoming a pro.
Oh no, I was just saying I appreciate it because it's good to kind of know what new technologies are out there and just to try something new. This is something I will consider trying sometime down the road, or just to do a small project to see how it works, how it ticks, how you develop in it. Just something outside of my element. Because normally for something that's like logic based, that's like a back end, I usually turn to like PHP and Laravel, but I'm willing to explore other avenues when it comes to technology. So thank you for the exposure. This is something I definitely will look into down the road.
Yeah, no, definitely. For me, I think like Crystal Lang is like the evolution for anybody who's interested in Ruby. If you're interested in Ruby, Python, Crystal Lang is the place for you. Now, the reason why you haven't seen it that much out there, like people like with their flags. You know how people, as soon as a new framework comes out, a new language comes out, people is with the waving the flag. They're like,
Yep.
"Hey, this is
Yeah, let's
something
be
new out here."
150 billion blogs on it.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why
Yep.
it hasn't gone to that point is because they are still in beta, but they are like the final stages of beta. Once it becomes 1.0, then it's a wrap. Because the problem with the language right now of Crystal Lang is the fact that right now you might be at version 0.23.2, right? Tomorrow they come out with 0.23.3, but now something that you created yesterday broke if you update it, because they're constantly doing changes to the language and adding new features and optimizing it, doing Windows support, giving it a whole bunch of stuff, right? A whole bunch of bells and whistles. So once it's stable and says, okay, this is 1.0 and this is how it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like when something is 1.0, like let's say for example, uh by versioning, how it works. At 1.0, that means that's how it's gonna be steadily, right? When it says 1.1 or 1.2, 1.3, those are just updates. Those are updates and like little things that are fixing bugs inside of that language at that moment, right? It's not really big changes. It's nothing that's gonna break. You know what I mean? So once it gets to that number one, it's a wrap. You get what I'm saying? Like this is like one of the best languages out there. I'm telling you, I never get hype about anything. I never hype anything up. But this is the same thing that happened like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, one of my coworkers was telling me about Golang, and he was like, "Yo, this is the next thing. This is the next big thing out there." And I was like, "I don't know about that, son." So I learned from that, and I realized when something like this pops up, I say I'm gonna invest my time into it. Because look into it now. This guy's into how you call this, into Golang, that are making $180,000 starting. You know what I mean? There's guys coming in. I've seen guys that got up to $260,000 to do Golang. You know what I mean? So if you come in and you say, "Hey, I'm one of the first ones doing this language. I know the ins and outs. I know all the mistakes, or all the pitfalls that it might have," then it's a wrap after that. You know what I mean? Like now you could call yourself an expert. There's very few people that can say, "Hey, I'm a React expert." The only people that can call themselves a React expert are the people that have been doing it since beta. You know what I mean? Because they know how the whole system works, or even Angular, or any other framework or language out there. The guys that are really experts are the guys that's been there since the beginning. The guys that contributed to the language, the guys that put in the sweat and tears into it. But
Right.
definitely, I will tell you guys, check that framework out. I'm probably gonna do a quick crash course for YouTube so people could check it out and test it out. Especially if you're looking to build like real time applications, Crystal Lang is the best. And I found that working with Amber, it just makes it easier because all you have to worry about is just your front end application, and in the back end, everything is already set up for you, like cookies, sessions, um, Flash, like everything that you might need, it's already there for you. So yes, sir. I'm reading over here
Cool,
what people
cool.
are
I'll
saying.
be able to check it. I'll be sure to check it out, Joe.
Yes, sir, man. Let me see who else, man. Reading what people are saying on the chat room. So
Well, here, um, you was talking about how we should actually check it out, and the problem I have is that I have like so many other languages and frameworks on my list that I want to actually learn that it might be a while before I could even check out that like crystalline.
yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people got a lot of stuff on their plate, a lot of things on the list. And that's why I tell people, man, listen, um, I myself, I can't go in there and try to learn every single language, every single framework out there. Like I've been trying to learn Elm like once in a blue moon, like whenever I have extra time, because I'm interested in it. But do I have the time to really learn it? No. But what I do is certain things that are very similar to each other. Like when I already knew, like let's say for example, um, Ruby on Rails. When I jumped into Laravel, it was the same thing for me. So I already knew that. I already knew how everything worked on it. So it was an easy transition. If you already know Laravel, then you already know Adonis JS. So then it's just in JavaScript. It's just the same thing, but in JavaScript. And this is the same thing with Amber. So Amber is not a copy, but it's very similar to Ruby on Rails. So if you have used Ruby on Rails, it's easy to transition into Amber because you're already seeing everything there. In web development, I tell people all the time, once you know the basics and you understand the fundamentals, every single framework, every single library is doing the same thing. Everything is very repetitive. So once you know it, once you basically know it in every other language. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody that comes in and tells you, "Oh man, uh, I'm a Java developer." It's like, and I tell them, "Hey, do this in Ruby." They'll be like, "Oh man, I can't do it in Ruby." Yes, you can because pretty much all you're gonna do is just return back a JSON or return back a render page or HTML page, etc. Right, or a file. So it's pretty much the same thing. Doesn't matter what language it is. All you have to do is just revise over the syntax. Like once you do it once, you know it in every language. And that's why also too I tell people like people ask me, Joe, man, I don't know if I should jump over PHP, like I'm focusing a lot on JavaScript, and I'm like, focus on JavaScript, but jump to PHP to understand the backend, right? In an easier way than knowing it with Node.js. And then you could jump to Node.js. By the time you go to Node.js, you know how the backend works. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
And
I
actually what I did pretty much.
yeah,
I feel that same way because of just like I was saying, like since like Java was the first thing I basically learned once I got into the web development community and I started learning like JavaScript, like it was kind of easy to me because I didn't really have to like learn like the like basic like stuff in JavaScript because I already knew what like all of that stuff was. Like I already knew what the booleans was, functions, um 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 I already knew what the operators was, if statements and like all of like that jazz. So that
yeah,
stuff wasn't really like too hard to me. And then I started to pick up Python like about a month ago, and I must say that I do like the Python syntax. I do like the fact that I don't have to add brackets. I
yeah,
think it looks better without brackets, but that's just my opinion. I like it.
yeah. Nah, definitely, man. I agree with you. I'm on the same boat, man. Listen, I prefer the Ruby and the Python syntax over anything else out there because to me it's just cleaner code and easier to read. And even at that, like there's certain things like on Ruby, like if you want to return back something at the end, all you have to do is put it at the last line. Like you don't even have to put in the word return on it because the language already knows the last line is what you're trying to return from that method. You get what I'm saying? So